2-1 in the preseason. That second drive was the one. Now, they only got 2 series, the starting offense. Would I have liked to have seen another series? Yeah. I don't care if they were going against the backup. Who cares? What is 2-1 in the preseason? Who makes this team? The starters aren't playing the last preseason game against the Houston Texans. So is this last preseason game even relevant? We got a lot to talk about with these Carolina Panthers. All that and more on this episode of the Coach Cherry Show.
Place that I'm in, I make it come alive. Yep. They say keep it a buck, I say keep it a vibe.
Some of y'all don't know what you want. Some of you are looking at 2 things. You're saying it's preseason, so this don't mean nothing, coach. And they played against the backups, so this don't mean nothing, coach. Now, had they not played well, then you would have been complaining. Man, they're not taking the preseason serious. They couldn't do anything against the backups. Well, they took the preseason serious. They did something against the backups, and you're still not happy. Still not happy. The only thing that I would have done differently, I would have had, guys, let me say this. Let me say this. I would have had the starting offense. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I know they had a joint practice and maybe the coaches saw what they needed to see in the joint practice. I got it. The Panthers were 8-9 last season. Y'all do know that, right? Yeah, we won the NFC South. Yes, we went to the playoffs. Yes, we took the Los Angeles Rams to the wire. But as a coach, I'm still thinking we were 8-9. What are you saying, Coach Cherry? We had a losing record. That's what I got it. NFC South champs, hang that banner up, flag, whatever you get. I'm still thinking we were below 500. So that preseason game against Jack, I don't care if they weren't playing their starters. I want to see something. I want to see something to make me more optimistic about the season. My starters would have played another series. I was going to say the entire first quarter, which I think 3 series, you probably get about 3 series per quarter. So I think Kenny Pickett, when he got on the field, I believe it was right around 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. My starters would have played the whole first quarter. That would have given them 3 series. I don't care if, guys, you do know backups are going to play, right? What are you saying, Coach Cherry? Jacksonville's, whenever you play a regular season game, at some point, that starting defensive tackle comes off the field and the backup comes in against your starter offensive line. You do know that, right? At some point, that starting linebacker is going to take a couple of plays off and the backup linebacker is going to come in and go against your starting offense. You do know that, right? So you can still get a look playing against backups. At some point, that starting corner, he may tweak something. He may just need a breather and come off for a couple of plays, and the backup corner comes in against your starting receiver. You do know that, right? So you can see some things against the backups. I do not think the Carolina Panthers are in position to not play start. 2 series, especially after that Buffalo performance. No, you're giving me 3 series minimum. And you know what I want to see? Jacksonville has their backups in. We'll go out there and score against them again. Show me what it's like when starters go against backups. Let me see. Jonathan Brooks, I may have set because he's coming off an injury. Jonathan Brooks, I probably would have set Jonathan Brooks and given A.J. Dillon some more touches. And I'm taking Teterow McMillan off the field. Why are you doing that? I want to see another wide receiver do something. Can another wide receiver do something? And I hear people saying Bryce Young locks in on Teterow McMillan. I think Teterow is the only one getting open consistently. I think Teterow, for whatever reason, is the one that he feels most comfortable with. If you want him to feel comfortable with you, make a play. I think Bryce Young is too good of a quarterback for us to say When he drops back, he's just looking for number 4. I think he's too good for that. Nope. I think he's too good. National champion, Heisman Trophy winner, NFL top 100. He's too good for that. I don't think Bryce Young, now we'll say this. I think if it's crunch time or a third down situation, he may be looking for T-Mac. But just a random first down, second quarter, third quarter, I don't think he's just zeroing in on T-Mac. I think T-Mac the only one that's shown I can make a play almost every time you give me the ball. Another receiver has to step up. That's what I want to see in that third series. T-Mac, you're off the field. Jonathan Brooks, you're off the field. Somebody else do something. That's what I want to see. Now, they're saying that none of the starters are going to play this last preseason game. I don't know how I feel about that. Now, if Houston's not going to, because see, my thing is the first game is not until September 13th at home against Chicago. If the starters, now there's a joint practice this week against the Texans. So the starters will get some reps against Houston's first team. But I've told y'all before, that joint practice, that don't really move me like that because I don't know. That don't really move me like that. I'm not big on, you can get a little work. But it's not a game environment. Some of that stuff you do in practice and in training camp and in joint practices, some of that stuff does not carry over to the game. You know why? Not because because it's not a game environment. If you won't play it, that's why a lot of coaches in their practices, they try to simulate game speed, game intensity, a game environment. Why? So that when you get in the game, I'm used to this. Joint practices are intense. I think there is some intensity there, but it doesn't feel like a game. So when a flag is thrown in a joint practice, a 15-yard penalty, it's like, okay, and you jump off sides, a false start, 5-yard penalty in a joint practice, okay, big deal. I think coaches need to come together and find a better way for joint practices to resemble games. Now, are you going to be able to resemble the atmosphere of a regular season game or a playoff game 100%? No, but you need to try to get as close as possible. That first drive against Jacksonville, the only first down came off of a pass interference against Tedderall McMillan. That's the only way they got a first down. That's not good enough. For me, that's not good. As a coach, not good enough. Now, the second drive, I said, okay, and Brad Isaac was in his bag play calling. That second drive, I saw a completion to Tommy Tremble. I saw a completion to Jalen Coker. Jonathan Brooks had some nice runs. Jonathan Brooks scored his first touchdown and gave a shout out to his late father. You're talking about someone who hasn't played since 2024. That's a special moment, y'all. I was so happy for Jonathan Brooks because he wanted to honor his late father, who he said was his biggest fan, and because such a talented, good young man finally gets to play again. And we pray that he has a full season healthy because he deserves that, y'all. So he showed that 11-yard run he had. He showed the vision. He showed the patience, the cutback ability. And then he was able to get in the end zone. Brooks is a good running back. That second drive, we saw some running game. We saw some passing game. We saw Bryce Young. When Bryce Young gets out of the pocket, you better look out. He can beat you in the pocket, but he is dangerous on the move. I wanted to see a follow-up drive to that. If I'm Coach Canales, I would have said, first drive, not terrible, but second drive, let me see one more drive like that second drive. And because we're playing their backups, I expect to see it. But they came off the field after. Let me say this about Kenny Pickett. And Bryce Young played very well. Let me say this about Mr. Kenny Pickett. I told y'all this after that Hall of Fame game. And I was also celebrating Haynes King's performance as well. Outstanding. But Kenny Pickett, I said, y'all, that first game, Kenny Pickett didn't play bad. Kenny Pickett's been around the league. Y'all. Kenny Pickett played in Pittsburgh in some big games. Kenny Pickett was on the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl team. Kenny Pickett can play. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? I didn't say that. Is he a Pro Bowl quarterback? I didn't say that. Kenny Pickett is a solid quarterback. For this preseason, Kenny Pickett is 39 of 55. That's 71% completion. Almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. We have a quality backup quarterback. If anything happens to Bryce Young, inserting Kenny Pickett, you have a quality backup quarterback. I think they're not talking about Kenny Pickett's performance enough. I guess he starts this last preseason game. They said the starters aren't playing, so Bryce obviously is not going to play. Does Kyle Trask play the whole game? Does Haynes King? I would like to see Haynes King come back. Well, we're going to talk about that in a second with Haynes King. We're going to talk about that in a second. Panthers are now 2-1. And let me say this about the defense. Princely Umanmielen has shown he can consistently get pressure on the quarterback. See, this is the Prince we thought we were going to see last year. And let me say this. I think Prince felt like he could do this last season. I keep telling y'all, a lot of this stuff is situational. I think Princely felt like he wasn't in the best position or situation to show this ability last season. I really believe Princely feels that way. And I think now Princely feels like, I can show you something now. Let me say this. Princely Umanmielen and Pat Jones, they were in that quarterback's face. What is it going to look like? Because see, as an offensive coordinator, when I see Princely and Pat Jones coming off the edges, getting pressure, I make adjustments, blocking wise. What's it going to look like when Derek Brown is out there? What's it going to look like when Jalen Phillips is out there? They didn't even play. What's it going to look like when Devin Lloyd is in the middle? What's it going to look like when J.C. Horn? That defense held them to a 3-and-out and a field goal. Coach Avero, I told y'all last year, when I saw them go, I told y'all about Coach Avero last season. When I saw them go from the last place defense in the National Football League, and then Derek Brown and J.C. Horn come back healthy, and they go from 32nd to 15th, that's a big jump. You say, well, that's not a top 10 defense, Coach Jerry. I don't want to hear that. If you go from the 32nd defense to the 15th in one season, what that showed me with Coach Avero is, oh, I see. You give him a couple players, he can do some things. You gave him Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, he went to the top half of the league. Now, not only Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, now you add Devin Lloyd, you add Jalen Phillips, a Princely Umanmielen's getting more playing time now. Pat Jones is back. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm expecting. Now, Mike Jackson, I need you to lock in. Look at what Mike Jackson. I saw Mike Jackson. He's been getting beat some in this preseason. I don't like to see that. Especially, Mike, you're playing for a contract. You're trying to get paid. 29, going on 30. Is he 20? I know he's 29. I don't know when the 30th birthday is. But Mike Jackson, when next football season gets here, you're going to be 30? You got to tighten up. You should be locking cats down in the preseason like, nah, you're not throwing over here. Lockdown. I'm going to assume Mike Jack locks in when that regular season starts. But if the starters don't play, you're looking at almost 3 weeks off, y'all, before September 30th. I don't like that. This is I keep telling y'all, this is an 8-9 team. Tighten it up. Get it together. This ain't a team coming off a 12-5 season or 11-6. Nah. Yeah, okay. I want to see something. I'm just telling you, I want to see something. I like that they played well. People are downplaying it because it was the second unit. I think they showed what they were supposed to. 2-1. Now, the Panthers were 0-3 last year in the preseason. They made the playoffs. So I don't know how much. I'm not so much looking at wins and losses in the preseason. I'm looking at performance. Performance. Now, with that being said, some tough decisions got to be made, y'all. Quarterback position. Bryce Young, quarterback 1. Kenny Pickett, QB2. Who's QB3? Haynes King. Well, does Haynes King make the roster off one performance? Kyle Trask. The question comes down to who's your third quarterback? Now, has Kyle Trask done enough? And he has one more game. Kyle has one more game. Well, he's not going to play against the starters. Well, neither did Haynes King. Has Kyle Trask done enough, or can he do enough to take Haynes King's spot? I'm just asking. I don't know. I will say this. Haynes King had a heck of a performance. Kyle Trask hasn't shown that. And yes, right now, that one Hall of Fame game that Haynes King played in is more than what Kyle Trask has done. It is. I'm just being real with you. It's more than what he's done. For me to pick Kyle Trask over Haynes King, Kyle Trask needs to ball out against the Texans. I'm not saying 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he needs to have a good performance. Because the impression that Haynes King left is, they got decisions to make. Who are you keeping at wide receiver? Okay, I got it. Tedero McMillan, Jalen Coker, Xavier Legette. I got it. Those are your first 3. Y'all, Jimmy Horn Jr., this is what I was saying last season. Just get Jimmy Horn Jr. the ball. He should be your kick returner, your punt returner, and getting reps at receiver. I was begging for him to be the kick returner last season. Because a guy like that that's explosive, that's a playmaker, just get the football in his hands. However you got to do it. Quick bubble screens. And you saw the end around he got against Jacksonville, 39 yards, almost 40 yards, almost took that thing to the house. Yes, Brad Isaac. Jimmy Horn Jr. has made this roster. I don't think that should even be a question. They're big on Bryson Tremaine. I haven't really seen anything from Bryson Tremaine other than blocking. I'm just being real with you. I haven't seen anything from Bryson Tremaine other than blocking. But sometimes coaches just like you. I've seen that in basketball and I've seen it in football. I've seen kids get recruited and get playing time because the coach likes them. They're not the most productive player. Coach likes them, whether it's their character, whether it's their work ethic, whether it's their punctuality. They're a good locker room guy. They're a coach on the floor or a coach on the field. They unite the team. They get along with teammates, whatever it may be. Now, they'll have moments of production, but they don't consistently produce, and the coach just loves them. I've seen players like that. I think Bryson Tremaine is one of those players. He plays special teams. He blocks on run plays. He can be set on the perimeter. They'll bring him in motion down to the line, and he blocks well. I think they just like him. And every once in a while, he'll give you a catch. Now, is he going to catch 6 or 7 football? I ain't seen that from him. I hadn't even seen him have 5 or 6 catches. But they like him. So I'm assuming Bryson Tremaine's going to make the roster. I don't know. John Mechie III looked good. He looked good. John Mechie III show. Y'all, they got some tough decisions. Jasim Reed has scored 2 touchdowns this preseason. David Moore is a veteran who's played under Coach Canales for years. Casey Washington has made plays. If I'm picking 7 wide receivers, I'm picking Tedero McMillan, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Jimmy Horn Jr., John Mechie III. That's where it gets tough. I'm going to say Bryson Tremaine. He's a big body receiver, and I think they like him. I don't know if I would pick him. And then my last receiver, you got David Moore, Casey Washington, and Jasim Reed. That's a tough one, y'all. I'm going to go with Jasim Reed. And hopefully I can stash David Moore, Casey Washington on the practice squad. One of them. I don't know if they can keep both of them. But those are the 7 that I would pick. Then you go to the tight end room. Mitchell Evans, Tommy Tremble. You got to keep Tommy Tremble's. Jatavion Sanders. Darren Waller hasn't played yet. Felipe Franks even looks good. They say it's a stretch. That's 5 good tight ends. And they say it's a stretch to keep 4. I don't know how you cut 2 of them. I don't know. To me, I think Darren Waller and Tommy Tremble are locks. I like Jatavion Sanders a lot. I don't know how much they like him. I like him a lot. That touchdown pass Felipe Franks caught in the joint practice with Jacksonville, I love that attitude and swagger that he showed. You saw him get up and take his helmet off like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Throw that thing up, Bryce. I don't think Bryce threw it. I think Kyle Trask threw it. Throw it up, Kyle. I'm here. And he took his helmet off. Well, his helmet came off after he caught it. Contested catch. Touchdown. Helmet comes off. You know what it is. And he had that look like, we can run this back. Let me go back to the huddle. Call the same play. Because Buddy can't guard me. Huh? So the tight end, tough. And then running backs. Chuba Hubbard. Are you going to keep 3 running backs? Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks, locks. Who do you keep between ETN and A.J. Dillon? I said, who do you keep between Trevor Etienne and A.J. Dillon? Are you asking me? Now, I will say this. Going into the Jacksonville game, I would have said A.J. Dillon. And I like A.J. Dillon a lot. Etienne ran that ball against Jacksonville. That's the best I've seen Trevor run the football. He ran that football against Jacksonville. He again, going into that game, A.J. Dillon, no brainer. After that game, I said, woo, it may come down to this Texans game. Are they going to keep 4 running backs on the active roster? The Panthers got some decisions to make. Now, October 30th is the cuts. There's only 1 round of cuts. You got to go from 90 to 53. 1 round of cuts. So Friday, I don't know how. Friday doesn't mean anything. Friday is all about roster spots. You're not going to see Bryce Young and them play. So if you're looking for, man, I wonder what our starter's going to look like week 1 against Chicago, you won't see that Friday. What you will see is who's going to make the roster. So the A.J. Dillons, the Trevor Etiennes, the Kyle Trask, the Jasim Reeds, and the Casey Washingtons, and the Felipe Franks, and those guys, David Moore, they got to show something. I said they got to show something. This game is big for them. Starters not playing. I'm still watching because I want to see who makes the team. And who do I think? Ooh, this is tough, y'all. I told you my 7 receivers. If they're going to keep 4 tight ends, I'm going to go Tommy Tremble, Darren Waller, Jatavion Sanders, Mitchell Evans. I think Haynes King makes it over Kyle Trask. And if they keep 3 running backs, Trevor Achane or A.J. Dillon. Trevor Achane or A.J. Dillon. That right there, that's the tough one, y'all. If they only keep 3, gosh, that's the tough one. Achane is younger. Dillon's older. I think at this point in their career, Dillon is the better running back, but it's all about what the Panthers are looking for. Do they want to keep their 4th round pick in Achane? Or are they looking at who can produce for us now? Because let me say this. You see Chuba Hubbard is already banged up. And Chuba Hubbard missed time last season. Jonathan Brooks, we pray he stays healthy. There is still somewhat of a question mark there. Your running back number 3 needs to be ready. I'm going to just tell you that right now. Whichever one you pick, they got to be ready to go. If I'm the running backs coach And as y'all know, I played running back in college. I'm telling AJ, Trevor, come here. You two need to stay ready. I don't know which one the coaches are going to pick for running back 3. Whichever one of you gets picked, because a hamstring is tricky. If that thing lingers, it is a possibility, and we hope this doesn't happen, that Chuba Hubbard is not ready for week 1. Did you hear what I just said? Chuba Hubbard may not be ready for week 1. If that happens, Jonathan Brooks is now your starter. And if that happens, whoever running back 3 is now your primary backup. And Brooks, you got to remember, he's looked good in the preseason, but he hasn't played a full 4-quarter game, 20 carry. And with this being Jonathan Brooks' first time playing in 2 years, I don't know if you want to give him 20 carries right out the gate. Like week 1 against Chicago, if Chuba Hubbard can't play, I might give Jonathan Brooks 8 to 10 carries. That means whoever running back 2 is, you got to be ready, because you may get 8 to 10 carries. So the decision between Trevor Achane and AJ Dillon is a big one. That thing is big, man. You don't know because their number could be up at any point. And God forbid Jonathan Brooks starts and something, it ain't got to be nothing major. It could be you roll your ankle. What if the ankle rolls and he's just out for 3 series while they tape him up and put him in the tent and all this kind of? Who's the running back now? I said, who's the running back now? Now it's Achane or Dillon. The Carolina Panthers are going into this week with some tough decisions to make. And y'all, let's not get happy too much. This was still a 8-9 ball club last season. I don't have a problem with that, because just 2 years ago, they won 2 games. The year after that, they won 5 games. Last season, they won 8. So they have increased by 3 wins each season. So when I say 8-9, that ain't necessarily a diss. What it is a reminder that they're trending upward, but they haven't arrived yet. We're going to see what these decisions look like. And we're going to talk about it on the next episode of the Coach Cherry Show, because again, August 30th is the cut date. So by the time this next episode comes out, they will have made their roster. Do you hear what I'm saying? Woo! Can I come out there, Coach Canales? I just need 1 week, Coach. I promise you I'll make that team at running back. I'll be your running back 3. AJ and Trevor better look out if I come out there. Huh? Where's my helmet? Where's my helmet? This has been another episode of the Coach Cherry Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Coach Cherry, Jesus Christ follower, husband, father, former head coach, former college athlete, and independent rap artist. Please hit that like and subscribe button. You don't want to miss an episode of the Coach Cherry Show. I'm going to tell you that right now. You do not want to miss an episode of the Coach Cherry Show. If you're talking about sports, Carolina Panthers, Charlotte Hornets, this is the place to be right here. No one. There is none of them. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, signing off, this is Coach Cherry. God bless you.
Now a big smile like I'm winning in spades. Every day I see how the game's being played. But they don't want to tell you, I call it charades. Don't let the negatives persuade. Let it breathe.